How the Camel Got His Hump. This lesson is from It So Happened Supplementary Reader, Grade 8. The world has just begun and the animals were working for humans. There was one lazy animal that did nothing and said nothing but hump. Even the clever jinn was at his wits' end. Here, the meaning of jinn is spirit that has strange powers and can assume any form, human or animal. In the beginning, when the world was new and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. He ate sticks and thorns and prickles, and when anybody spoke to him, he said, "Hump, just hump, and no more." Presently, the horse came to him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, "Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the horse went away and told the man. Presently, the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, In the beginning, when the world was new and when the animals were just starting to work for man, the first animal was the camel. This camel lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. He was lazy. The food for the camel was sticks and thorns and prickles, which is also a type of thorny bush. When anybody spoke to the camel, he only said hump, just hump and nothing else. Now it was Monday morning. The horse came to the camel with a saddle on his back. Here, saddle means a seat which is fastened on the back of the horse. He called, "Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." Here, trot means run at a moderate pace with short steps. What do you think the camel must have answered? Yes, right. The camel said, "Hump." Listening to the camel's reply, the horse went away and told the man about this. Then the dog came running with a stick in its mouth. "Camel, oh camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the dog went away and told the man. Presently, the ox came to him with a yoke on his neck and said, "Camel, oh camel, come and plow like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the ox went away and told the man. At the end of the day, the man called the horse and the dog and the ox together and said, 303, I'm very sorry for you." Here, the dog asked the camel to fetch and carry like the rest. The camel said, "Hump." Listening to the camel's reply, the dog went and informed the man. The next day was the turn of the ox with a yoke, that is, a piece of wood fastened over the necks of two animals for pulling a plough. Now, the ox asked the camel to come and plough like the rest. The camel's reply was, "Yes, hump." Hearing this, the ox went and told the man. It was the end of the day. The man called the horse, the dog, and the ox and felt sorry for them. "But that hump thing in the desert can't work, or he would have been here by now. So I'm going to leave him alone and you must work double time to make up for it." That made the three very angry, and they held a panjayat on the edge of the desert, and the camel came chewing cud and laughed at them. Then he said, "Hump," and went away again. Presently, there came along the jinn, who was in charge of all deserts, rolling in a cloud of dust. He told the three to do double the work to make up for the camel's work. This was because the man thought that the camel was not able to do any work. The three, that is, the horse, dog, and the ox, got angry and held a panjayat at the edge of the desert. Seeing them, the camel came chewing cud. Here, cud means food that cattle brings back from the first stomach to the mouth for further chewing. The camel laughed at them and said, "Hump," and went away. Now came a jinn. Here, jinn means a spirit that has strange powers and can assume any form, human or animal. The jinn was in charge of all the desert. He came rolling in a cloud of dust. "Jinn of all desert," said the horse, "is it right for anyone to be idle?" "Certainly not," said the jinn. "Well," said the horse, "there's a thing in the middle of your desert with a long neck and long legs, and he hasn't done a stroke of work since Monday morning. He won't trot." "You," said the jinn, whistling. That's my camel. What does he say about it? He says hump and he won't plough, said the ox. Very good, said the gin. I'll hump him if you will kindly wait a minute. The horse asked the gin if it was idle to stay quiet without doing any work. The gin said, certainly not. Then the horse said, the one in the desert with a long neck and long legs has done no work since Monday. The gin said it was his camel. The ox also complained that the camel refused to plough when asked about it. The gin said that he will hump him. The gin remonstrated with the camel, who said hump. Here, remonstrated means protested or complained. The camel's beautiful back suddenly grew a lump, which was the camel's hump. The gin assured the camel his hump would always be a help, not a hindrance. The gin rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a walk across the desert and found the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. My friend, said the gin, what's this I hear of doing no work? The gin sat down with his chin in his hand while the camel looked at his own reflection in the pool of water. You have given the 3 extra work ever since Monday morning, all on account of your idleness, said the gin. And he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. The gin got angry and rolled himself up in his dust cloak and walked across the desert. At a distance, he saw the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. The gin sat and asked the camel that why he has not done any work since Monday morning and has given the 3 extra work to others. He waited for the answer thinking with his chin on his hand. Hump, said the camel. I shouldn't say that again if I were you, said the gin. You might say it once too often. I want you to work. And the camel said, hump, again. But no sooner had he said it than he saw his back that he was so proud of, puffing up into a great big hump. Do you see that? Said the gin. That's your very own hump that you have brought upon your very own self by not working. Today is Thursday and you have done no work since Monday, when the work began. Now you are going to work. The camel said hump. As soon as he said hump, he saw something strange. His beautiful back, that he was so proud of, started puffing up. Finally, it turned ugly. The gin told the camel it was his own hump, that he had brought it upon the camel. Now, the gin ordered the camel to work. How can I, said the camel, with this hump on my back? That has a purpose, said the gin. All because you missed those 3 days. You will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump, and don't you ever say, I never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the tree and behave. And the camel went away to join the tree, and from that day to this, the camel always wears a hump. We call it hump now, not to hurt his feelings, but he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never yet learned how to behave. The camel said that he couldn't work as the hump was a big hurdle for him to work. Gin said that the hump had a purpose. As the camel did not do work for 3 days, he would always be able to work 3 days without eating. He could live depending on his hump. From that day, the camel joined the other 3 animals, but couldn't catch up with the 3 days' work he had missed in the beginning of the world. Still now, he had not learned to behave. So students, we must have a plan for the next day's work. Then there will be no burden and life becomes happy. But if we keep the work pending, we must carry it like the camel and cannot complete it. So, students, complete your work on time and achieve success in life. Best of luck!